Subscribe to my channel Arnav Verma for all latest Indian cricket updates. Click the notification bell for notifications of all the videos. So hello guys, welcome back to my channel Arnav Verma, and today I have a really special guest, a great enthusiast for women's sports, not only women's cricket but also women's football, women's rugby, uh, women's basketball also. I have seen a few of her videos. I really like her channel. She talks ball, and she's the founder of that channel. She's a great women's sports enthusiast, you could say it like that. And I'm really honored to have her today on my channel. Today we are going to discuss about women's cricket, how India have done so far in this India versus England tour, how India have done in this tour so far, and we are also going to preview the third T20I. We are going to give our views, and we are also going to talk about what India can do better ahead of the 2022 World Cup. So, Radha Gupta Didi, whatever. Welcome to my channel, and today we are going to discuss about India versus England. Let's first start with the test matches. We'll first just talk about our uh, favorite moments of the test match. What were yours? Then I'll tell mine.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. You don't have to call me Didi, that's fine. Uh, I think my favorite moments, there are so many. We have to start off with the fact that after 7 years, we finally played a test match, right? That in itself was a big moment.
Yeah.
And then heading into England, we have 5 debutants. Again, a very big moment for us because we are sort of infusing youth into our longer format. And we got a lot of people who've never played a test now playing a test away from home, difficult conditions. And obviously, it started off. One of the highlights for me and for a lot of people watching was the Shafali Verma display that we saw. For a 17-year-old who's going straight from T20s to test matches, it takes a lot of change and it takes a lot of mentality shift. And the fact that we saw a 96 from her and then a 50 odd runs in the second innings proves to the fact that although she's young, she's very patient. She can read the game well. You know, there was a big fiery battle between her and Catherine Brunt all through those 4 days. So that has to definitely be one of my favorite moments. But the last one that I want to pick on, I don't want to take all of your moments as well, has to be the Sneh Rana comeback. After 5-6 years of being excluded from the international setup, she comes back. We picked her in the 11, and everyone was like, "Oh, who is she? You know, she's playing for the first time, but she's 27 years old. So, you know, where is she coming from? Can she contribute to the team?" And on the fourth day, that 80 not out to save us the game, I get goosebumps thinking about it. That has to be my top three moments. I think India playing a test match, Shafali Verma's batting heroics, and Sneh Rana, the sensation that saved us a test match, have to be my moments of the game.
Yeah, my also are pretty similar, but yeah, obviously, first of all, uh, if India are playing a test match after 7 years, it's gonna be the top moment, obviously. But then my second moment was in his first wicket. You couldn't get a wicket for the first 1.5 hour. Then what a sensational catch it was from Tanya Bhatia. Like, she moved to her right. Smriti Mandhana first in the first half hour or first hour of the innings dropped a dolly in the slips. So
Yep.
you dropped easier ones earlier, but when Tanya Bhatia took that, I was just like so excited because I wanted to see something, because before that I was getting bored since after, because when you're watching cricket, when you're not, it's okay, but when you start watching cricket, you want a match every day. Like England versus New Zealand was there. There were two tests. Then 4 days it was just absolutely blank. I had nothing to do. Then the women's test started. I was pretty excited because India had not played a test since the last 7 years. That catch to start things off was really motivational for all the girls there over there, and I think that was a great moment. Yeah, and then myself, I would take four moments. So Smriti Mandhana and Shafali Verma's opening partnership too was something special. Smriti Mandhana scored 70 runs. Shafali scored 96 odd. Both threw their wicket away, sort of, you could say that, because they were both played rash shots and got caught
Yeah.
at in the deep. But after playing test cricket after 7 years, showing that sort of a patience, showing that sort of a temperament was really good. Looking forward to see India play more test matches in the future. It's not like you play a test match after 7 years and then you play a test match again after 2 years. It should not be like that. If you play a test match, you should play test matches. And I don't understand why are women getting why are they not getting 5 day test matches? Plus, what's the fact of having one test match in a series? If it's
Yeah.
drawn, it's over. So, and in if it's a 4 day test match, there's a huge probability of the match getting drawn. So, if you want to hold a series, get a series in, not just one game, and especially not a 4 day game. Get it in a 5 day game. So that Shafali Verma also, her patience which she showed, like you saw her in the T20s, you said that she's the next Sehwag. But the patience she showed in the test format, I don't think any of her expected her to show that sort of a temperament and that sort of a patience. So these are my top moments, and definitely that end last day resistance by India. uh, Tanya Bhatia, Deepti Sharma scored a 50. Sneha Rana getting into the team after 5 years. She scored a gritty 80 runs. India spinners also bowled really well in the whole test. Sneha Rana bowled pretty well too, batted really well. And India's all spinners, Deepti Sharma was also pretty good with the ball. So all
Mhm.
in all, it was a quite a good performance by India, as I would say it, especially when you look at the fact that they are playing a test match after 7 years, that too away from home.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm quite impressed with your breakdown of the game as well. It's glad that I'm glad that, when there's no men's cricket, people are tuning into women's cricket. But you're absolutely right. Like, we deserve to have more test matches in the series, more test matches in general, and surely a 5 day test match. What's the point of having 4 days? So simple to just add an extra day. And I'm really glad that you brought that up.
Yeah, and so by moving on, we would first start with the one days. Before that, I would like to tell you about when the test match was going on. It was a used wicket which was used for that test match, which you don't want. Like if it was a men's test match, imagine having the World Test Championship final on a used wicket. Like the
Exactly.
match would be abandoned that time only, I feel. So why do you want a women's test match, that too after 7 years? That I don't see women's test matches happening very often. So if you are having them after such long breaks, give them fresh surfaces. So, and if matches are played with the Duke's ball in England, why do you want to play it with the Kookaburra ball? Give the Duke's ball only. So I understand that playing with the Duke's ball would have made more tough for the batsmen, but still, I feel if the matches are played in England with the Duke's ball, I feel then for women also it should be played with the Duke's ball only. Now let's move on to the one days. The first one day, India, like in the first two one days, India lost the toss, India lost the game. In the third one day, won the toss, India won the game. Same was the case when India played South Africa too at home. India lost four tosses, lost the four games. They lost the toss in. They won one game in which
Yeah.
India won the toss. So India need to look at batting first. How do they need to bat first? The template to that, like you can't win the World Cup scoring 200, 220 runs batting first. You're never gonna do that. So that's that was another one of those days in the first one day where India got a no I was thinking about the second one day. In the first one day, India didn't got a great start. uh, they lost early wickets. Shafali Verma didn't score runs. Then Poonam Rod also didn't score that many runs. So Mithali Raj again, many might argue on her strike rate, but I feel Mithali Raj is that sort of an anchorer who wants to play 50 overs, and then you want someone like a Shafali or a Smriti or a Harmanpreet Kaur at her best form, revolving around her, who is playing at a good strike rate of around 80 to 90. So I feel that is something which India need to look at, playing aggressively. That's what England did. They chased 200 runs in around 35, 36 overs. Tammy
Hmm.
Beaumont was excellent. Like they were just brilliant. So there weren't a lot of positives in this game for India to look at. Uh, Mithali Raj was in form. That was one positive because she didn't play that well in test matches. In the test match, Sophia Kristen got her in both innings. What are your views on this?
Yeah, the first ODI, of course. Again, after the South Africa series, we haven't had any sort of matches, any practice. We came to England, didn't have any warm up games. We lost the toss. And as we realize now, today, sitting and looking back at those games, the toss really mattered. And we need to figure out a way that if you lose the toss, we should be prepared for whatever conditions, whatever innings we bat in, whatever the situation is, we need to figure out how to work with it. And, I feel like in a way I'm happy that we lost the toss so many times because now it's opened our eyes to the fact that, if India are chasing, we're all right. But if we're batting first, we're really struggling. And Australia have in the past 2 years a first innings average of 288. And if we have an average of 200, 215, there's no comparison there. They're way ahead. So in the first ODI, as you mentioned, Poonam Rao didn't make many runs and made it at a very slow pace. So we wondered that can two anchors, Poonam and
Hmm.
Mithali, potentially sink our ship? So we know that Mithali is the anchor role. She's played that forever, and she's done so well in the three ODIs that we'll discuss. So I feel like India need to figure out Mithali at number 3, and then maybe Harman at 4, and then you build from there. We don't need an extra Poonam or an extra Jemmy at number 3. If they're in form, you bring them in at 4 or at 5. So yeah, I think in batting terms, we lacked a lot of confidence, and then of course there was extra pressure on our bowlers in the second innings because England had a small total,
Yeah.
their own conditions. Tammy Beaumont was at that time the number one ODI batter. She, 100 strike rate, 87 of 87, Nat Siver 74 of 74, completely outdid our bowling, and the game was, over before the sun even set. So I think we really need to work on that.
Yeah. In the second one day, again, India were batting first. A little bit better performance from the first one day. Still, India got a good start. You can't argue on that. Shafali Verma scored around 44 runs and Smriti scored around 20. India got around a 50 runs opening partnership. So you would say that as a good start. They came at a good pace because whenever Shafali Verma is batting, the runs will not dry up. They'll come. So they came at a good pace. But then what they did were they just kept blocking, blocking, blocking. And then eventually the run rate, which was around 5 when India's openers got out, it slowly went down to 3, 3.5, which is never a good sign because you need to maintain that run rate. India's strike rotation is also a problem because they just keep on playing, get one single and an over. You need at least 3, 4 singles or a boundary and a single every over in a one day game. You need to look at that. So I feel again in this game there weren't many positives. India's bowling was a positive if you look at that way. So in the batting again, Mithali Raj scored a 50 as usual. In the three
Mhm.
games which India played, she scored 50s. India got to a total of around 215, 220, which was also never enough. So if you look at it, the teams batting first in all the three games scored around 220 runs and they lost the games. So that in itself tells you that 220 is never enough. You need at least 240, 250 runs to even compete in a game. Like there are rare instances when you defend 220, 200 runs in a one day game, especially against a side like England, because they have quite a lot. Whether it's the men's game or the women's game, they play at a rapid pace. Whoever, like in the men's game, they have Jason Roy, Johnny Bairstow, like all
Mhm.
of them are absolute power hitters. In the women's game, Nat Siver, Tammy Beaumont, Lauren Wilfield Hill, Heather Knight, all score at a rapid pace. They don't like
Yeah.
block, 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 block. They are not like that. So you need to look at that. Batting first, what's the template to do that? So what are reviews on that? Then we'll talk about the bowling.
Yeah, I mean, our batting clearly needs work. As you said, we didn't have many positives to take away in the second ODI as well. But I feel like if you have more negatives, then you have more things to work on. And it's in a way, it's good that you're showing all your flaws because before the World Cup, which is the ultimate peak event that we're working towards, we need to figure out our batting order. We need to figure out the roles that each person has when they come out with the bat. We need to figure out how to start taking singles on good balls instead of building up pressures with dots. And this series has helped us do that. The series with Australia in September will again help us do that. So I'm happy that India are playing top sides, getting exposed. I don't want us to lose, but I'd rather we lose in a series like this than lose in a World Cup where we could have figured out stuff. So when it comes to batting, I think there are just two simple things that India has to figure out. I think even today, the day of recording, they have not figured out properly is the roles that each person has when they come in. Tanya Bhatia, who's a batter, has come in at the extreme end. She's come in as an
Yeah.
opener sometimes. She's come in the middle.
Sometimes she
So
comes as an opener, like in a game,
yeah,
the test match. She came at 9. I was saying, why is a wicket keeper batting at 9? Shikha Pandey was
exactly.
ahead of her.
Exactly. And imagine her state. She's so confused, wondering, what do you want from me? Like, do you want me to just go at the end and like touch the ball and not do anything? Because I'm a batter. I'm capable of making runs. And she showed that in the test match.
Yeah.
So again, if you fix roles for people, they have confidence in them delivering that role. So I think fixing roles is important. And with fixing roles comes fixing a batting order. Obviously, on a game day, according to the situation, you can change the order. But going into a game, you should know what your order is, just so that the people have an idea of how to prepare. Okay, I'll come in after the 10th over. The power play will be over. I have to bat like this. Okay, I'm an opener. I'll have to see out the new ball. So I have to bat like that. So clearly, even we as sitting at home as viewers know that there are certain roles, there are certain conditions depending on what phase the match is in. And I'm hoping that going forward, India figure out what phase they want to be in.
Yeah. So when India bowled, at a stage I thought India could win this game. But then Sophia Dunkley, the hero of the test matches, as you could say it, she just changed the game with the 17, or that was the first one day international lock too. So she looks like a pretty matured player. That's a pretty good sort of a aspect for England to look at. But when
Mm-hmm.
you shift to India, you think that you could have won that game, because when a team is 135 for 5, around that, I don't remember the exact score, 140, 150, 130 for 5 was around about the
Yeah.
score, and
Yeah.
the target they were chasing were 220. So you could win that game. That was the same case in the World Test Championship final too. In New Zealand won 135 for 5, and India scored around 240 runs. So again, you would think that New Zealand wouldn't have got a lead. So that's the case. Both the teams, uh, they couldn't handle the tail. Whether it's the women's team or the men's team, handling the tail has always been a problem for India. So I feel again, that game could have been won. Our bowlers still bowled pretty well. Sophia Dunkley played well, no offense, but I think India spinners bowled pretty well. That ball from Jhulan Goswami to Tammy Beaumont was a peach, absolute a peach.
Yeah.
Like, she bowled that on a good length. Tanya Bhatia was up the stump, so she couldn't advance Tammy Beaumont, and then that was an absolute peach. Seamed a bit and also swung a bit in the air. So that was a great ball. I was just delighted to see that because I am a pacer myself. So
Okay.
yeah, so seeing that, that was a dream pacer's wicket. So that was a pretty good game, as on the aspect of the bowlers. They could have won it, but still, reaching that position was not easy. And the way India batted, they didn't even, I think, deserve to win that game. Even if you could say that India could have won it, but the way our batters batted, we didn't deserve to win it. And England were the better side on the day, and they won the game, and they also won the series. But the best one day of all the games was the third ODI, which was really good. India won the toss, which really happens whether it's men's or women's. Virat Kohli doesn't know how to win the toss. neither do us. Neither do us know how to win tosses in the women's game. So India chose to bowl first in one days. That sort of now it's sort of a regulation to win the toss and bowl first. However, the conditions are. Also, it was raining a bit. The match was reduced to 47 overs. So yeah, India bowled well. Uh, they rebuild. England weren't losing that much wickets. They could have built on from the position they were in. But then India spinners fought back pretty well, and then restricted England to 220. Deepti Sharma was good. Sneh Rana was excellent. So, what were our views, and what were your positives from this game? Like, this game was the most positive game in terms of India's point of view. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, of course, this was the best game for all Indians. I'm sure the English were a little upset with it. I think one of the positives that I saw in India's bowling and fielding was that we were putting pressure on them in the field.
Yeah.
In the first two ODIs, we were giving them easy singles. Like even when Sophia and Catherine Brunt were on strike and they had to make 80 odd runs, we were like hanging back at the circle and they would just tap and take a run. And as the runs kept coming lower and lower, they hit a couple of fours and won it. So it was frustrating me that why don't you come in closer, put a few pressury dot balls on the new batter, and eventually they'll hit a big shot. So when, as you said, England rebuilt towards the middle phase of with Nat Sever, Heather Knight making 40 odd runs each. And then we have our fielders come in, we have our spinners bowl quickly, over rate was rapid. The batters were wondering that the balls are just going by. We had two runouts as well, showing that we had intent in terms of if you take a run, we're going to aim for your stump, so you better watch out, kind of thing, right? And that's the kind of intent, aggression that I missed out on in the first two ODIs. So from this first innings, positives were that we were able to restrict England to a total that they have been restricting us to. Our bowlers bowling first. Like they've always been bowling in the second innings with a lot of pressure that we didn't make enough runs. We have to defend a small total. But this time they came out with a fresh intent. They had no scoreboard pressure. They said, we're going to go out, bowl our best deliveries and restrict England to whatever we can. So
Yeah,
I
also India
think,
got an early
yeah.
wicket of Tammy Beaumont, which was really crucial. Shikha Pandey got the early wicket in the like
Yeah.
second over, as far as I remember. So
Mm-hmm.
that was also like in one days you need early wickets. That's the key.
Absolutely.
In
And of a
any
person who's
format.
in such good form. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And an opener who's in such great form, who's been a threat to us. She sweeps really well. So for us
Hmm.
spinners, that's a problem as well. And getting her out early, England were a bit rattled that, oh no, we have
Hmm.
to now, our number three, our number four have to go in quite early. So yeah, all in all, I think that first innings was very good for us. And as a good innings goes, it set us up with a lot of confidence and momentum for our chase.
Yeah, and then chase Smriti Mandhana, you can call her the Virat Kohli of run chases. Like I saw her record, she has a 50 in all the like. This time she missed out on a 50, almost got there on. She got out on 49, but all the 10 innings before that, she has 50s in all the run chases India have done in one day internationals. So that's a great feat. In this one also, she almost reached the 50, 40, got out on 49. Like, I love her cover drive. She plays that so well. A left-hander's cover drive is something you love to watch.
Yeah.
Because that has some sort of a different sort of an elegance. Her whip of the pads, her pulls, all were brilliant. India got a good start in this game too. Shafali scored 20 odd. She played with patience when that's what you need to do in one days. When one opener is going well, you don't need to rush yourself. You need to take singles. That's what happened in the second T20 as well. Shafali was going all guns blazing. Smriti just took singles and helped her on the other end. She hit a six herself too, but that was when the things were evening out a bit. Shafali was
Yeah.
like not hitting that many, so just to release the pressure she hit 1 6. But then we'll talk about that later. So in this game, yeah, Smriti played really well. India's openers got off to a good start. Jemima Rodriguez at 3, I think, built a bit of pressure, hit two wonderful shots, an inside out over cover, and one was a drive. But then just on the next ball, she chopped on her stumps. Then Mithali Raj played a great knock, uh, played as an anchor in the end, finished really well. But the best part about this match was Sneerana's cameo. It was absolutely brilliant. Someone again getting into the team after 5 years. This is her second great performance. She has bowled well throughout the series, has never gone for runs, has taken a wicket there or over there. Like, she has been brilliant, has taken a wicket over there. Like, she has taken wickets also, not given runs, scored. What do I say? scored important runs. So
Mhm.
all in all, I think Sneh Rana's performance is the biggest positive out of all, in whether you talk about the test, T20s or the one days. That's the biggest positive for India, whether if you look at this series as a whole, because this is also a multi-format series. As and right now, England are leading 8-6 after two T20s are also done. The last
Mhm.
T20 is on Wednesday, and this is being recorded on Monday. So yeah, we're also gonna preview the 30-20. What are your views on Sneh Rana's and Mithali's knock?
Yeah, firstly, today is Tuesday, in case you've forgotten. So it's
Yes, today's
tomorrow.
Tuesday. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've been waiting and I'm like, wait, I have to wait 2 more days. No, it's tomorrow only. But yeah, about the third T20, the third ODI, look, that's something that we've been wanting and longing for. And this ODI went on like in India time past midnight. So I was like
Yeah.
awake, my eyes were like, blurry. And I was like, please win this game, please win this game. Mitali, very clear. Started off as an anchor, stayed there. People around her kept batting, kept batting. Some wickets were lost. That's okay. It happens in cricket. She kept batting. She kept batting. Suddenly 50, 60, 70. And of course, Sneh Rana comes in. We've missed that very
Yeah.
specific role. Sneh Rana's role. Come in, strike at above 100, make 20 runs. That's perfect. If you get out after 20, that's all right. Sneh Rana came in at a very crucial time for us, and she went out when we needed 5 runs of 6 balls or something like that,
Yeah.
right? And to leave Mitali and India at such a easy stage, 5 runs on 6 balls with Mitali on 70 runs. Surely we've got this in the bag, right?
Yeah.
So Sneh Rana, I think even Ramesh Pawar, who's the Indian coach, has said this. This has been Sneh Rana's series. She has been the find of the series. She's been the highlight of the series from fielding to batting to bowling. I'm so excited to see her continue for India in at least 5, 6 more years. She could be that veteran, that senior figure once Mithali and Julan retire after the World Cup. But yeah, I think towards the end, it was so poetic and it was so fulfilling to see Mithali and Julan out in the middle to hit the winning runs together. And that win made sure that the T20 series was that much more crucial. Because if
Yeah.
England had won that ODI, then this T20 would have been like, it doesn't matter who wins it, England can't lose the series. But now we
Yeah.
have a chance to tie up the series, share the exploits. And I think, yeah, it was a fantastic game.
Yeah. So the first T20 was sort of a rain affected game because England put 177 on the board. But that was a great innings by them. But the highlight of this game for uh, world cricket was Harleen Deol's catch. Like, it was absolutely magnificent. I haven't seen that sort of a catch. You have seen relay catches. You have seen
Yeah.
like catches in which you take catches like this, then you go out, then you pop it up and like that. But you haven't seen catches in which you pop it up and then you go out and then you dive and take the catch. I have not seen that sort of a catch. That takes judgment, first of all, athleticism, and place of mind, and fitness also, because if you are not fit, you won't dive over there, and
Yeah.
like you won't pop it up, you won't be able to balance yourself at the boundary. So Harleen Deol's catch over there, to dismiss Amy Jones, who was herself playing very well at 43 of 27,
Mhm.
I think that was one of the best catches I've ever seen.
I mean, I still watch it on replay every single day. And the entire world, the Twitter world, the Instagram world, everyone, it just exploded. Harleen, I think, got like 200,000 followers overnight. And,
Yeah.
we forget that Harmanpreet had a great catch about 2, 3 balls before that, but
Hmm.
nobody remembers that because
Yeah.
of what Harleen did a few balls after. And while it was a great catch, it was an exceptional display of athleticism that no one's ever going to forget. We have to also note that all this came after England had done everything they had to. Nat Sever had made her runs, Amy Jones had made her runs. We had conceded 160 runs or something, and then we
Hmm.
had this. So while this was a great way to get the batter out, we need to do this much earlier. We
Hmm.
need to contain the batters much earlier to have a chance of winning. As we saw, we did lose this game due to
Hmm.
Duckworth Lewis and everything. I think the chase was just a bit out of our hands because
Yeah.
of the carnage of Nat Sever and Amy Jones. But yeah, that that individual piece of brilliance is something that we'll all remember forever.
Yeah. Then when India came on to bat, the way Smriti Mandhana was batting, I thought there's a chance because she was around 29 or 17 balls when she got out, and she was looking pretty good. She was caught at mid on. She lobbed it in the air. I think she was playing pretty good, and had she not got out, maybe the match, India wouldn't have lost by 18 runs on Duckworth Lewis.
Yeah.
Maybe they would have won. Maybe their run rate would have been better. Maybe they have scored 54 runs. Maybe they would have been on 70, because you don't know. In the India went into sort of a shell. They needed to kick on, because everyone knew that had to come at that time. It was predicted that there was rain. So Duckworth Lewis was on everyone's mind, and I think had Smriti not got out, maybe India would have won, or at least lost by a smaller margin. But anyways, the highlight of the game was definitely Harleen Deol's catch. And in the
Mhm.
second T20, this was one which I actually, because in the first T20 it was at 11 p.m. and the next day I had school, so I saw a little bit of the game only. But in the second T20 it was at 7 p.m., so that was a better, much suited time for Indians.
Hmm.
So I watched the full game till 11 p.m. Something, and it was a great game, because it was a low scoring game. It could have been much high scoring. It could have been 178, because the way Shafali was smashing Catherine Brunt, it looked like Catherine Brunt was a bowler who was very new to international cricket, or was a club bowler, because Catherine Brunt is one of the best bowlers in women's cricket, if you see. But she was just smashing her like, I don't know what. She smashed her for 5 consecutive 4s in the over. Like, what a revenge it was, because Catherine Brunt dismissed Shafali for a duck in the first T20, but Shafali then got her revenge with 5 4s in an over, consecutive. And I feel that was something like, I was watching the game. I just started dancing. I was like, what is happening? Because that's something I was really like. I wanted a high scoring thriller, because today also there's England versus Pakistan, and like, whenever a cricket match happens, a cricket series happens, whether it's women's or men's, in if it's a three match or if it's a five match, I want at least two high scoring matches, and if it's a three match, I want at least one, because that's what entertains you as a fan. Like, uh, if you're a biggest cricket fan, then also if there's not a game in a series in which there's 200 runs in a T20, 180, 190 runs in a T20 game, you wouldn't be satisfied with that series. Because that's the sort of mentality we have in India. Batsmen are the gods, batters are the gods. uh, Sometimes we tend to forget the contribution of the bowlers. Like, we have made Sachin Tendulkar as the god of India, god of cricket. There's no harm in that. He was the best player ever. But you sometimes tend to forget that Kapil Dev was also there. He was the best
Mhm.
bowler, I think, till now India have ever seen, the best pacer at least. So sometimes you forget him. When you talk about all rounders, Ben Stokes, Jadeja, you talk about Andrew Flintoff. Sometimes I see people forget Kapil Dev in their poll list. Sometimes people do a poll on
Yeah.
social media. There's no Kapil Dev. I sometimes think, how is there no Kapil Dev in an all rounders poll? So uh,
Yeah.
there's no harm in saying that batsmen are great, but bowlers uh, have more contribution, need to do more hard work compared to batsmen. So in this game, yeah, what are your views? Because this was a thriller, absolute thriller.
It was again, and I was also like literally I was dancing. I don't know. I had like a different sort of connection to this game. I felt almost like I was at the stadium. I watched every ball. I made my family sit down and watch every ball with me. And at one point, I was gone. We've lost the game. Like it's done. They need 20 of 20. ठीक है, they're going to win it. It's just a painful end for India again.
Hmm.
Then we have one run out, and then we have another run out, and we have like
And
mishits and
like, the turning point of the game was that when the ball hit Deepti Sharma's shoe and Head
yeah,
Knight got run out. Like,
of course, had to be.
that was not intentional. That was like
Mhm.
sort of a coincidence, but a coincidence won India the game. You can say that. And
Yeah,
India's
and sometimes.
Yeah, Indian
Yeah.
spinners were absolutely brilliant. Poonam Yadav, like bowling in the 19th or 18th over, she gave away 2 or 3 runs and got the wicket. So that was brilliant. You don't see spinners bowl that often in the death overs. But I
Hmm.
think if you see in that way, that was also sort of a masterclass from Harmanpreet Kaur, getting a spinner in the death overs, thinking that don't give a pace to the batsman because that's sometimes easier to hit, because Poonam Yadav is someone who will never give you pace to hit. She like bowls at 50 kilometers per hour, and I think that how is the batsman even touching the ball?
Yeah. Even Heather Knight in her post-match press conference said that I just don't know how to face Poonam Yadav. Like she is unlike anybody who's ever bowled and who will ever bowl again. She's so slow, yet the ball takes like it comes so high, and you don't have to go ahead or you stay back. Like, and that's the beauty of Poonam Yadav. And I think that that second innings, look, we had 4 runouts. We had Tammy Beaumont, who's a great player of spin. Okay, and that's why we were struggling to bowl our spinners because Tammy was sweeping us left and right. And then we got Tammy out. And then the same over, we got Heather Knight out, and then
Hmm.
everything changed. We said,
Yeah.
bring all the spinners. Harman, if you bowl, you come on. Harleen Deol, you bowl, you also come on. One
Yeah.
after the other, we brought all our spinners on, leg spin, off spin, left arm, everything we had. Till the 20th over, it was just spin, spin, spin. Shikha Pandey didn't see any overs after that. And
Yeah.
we slowed down the pace of the game. Catherine Brunt, who likes to strike the ball, needs some pace on it to strike it. And with
Hmm.
Poonam Yadav, she was just frustrated, frustrated.
Yeah.
Eventually, she got out as well.
Hmm.
And yeah, look, we saw a very 8 run close victory. It just
Hmm.
shows that it's proof to Indian fans and to the team themselves that in a pressure situation, we can come out on top. And that's a great positive going into the third T20.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's a great positive. And now India need to win the last T20 to level up the series, the multi-format series. England are leading 8-6. You get 2 wins. I mean, you get 2 points for a win in this series in the T20s. Uh, and if losing, obviously you get no points. If England win, like they clinch it. If India win, you draw it, and I think that's a pretty good achievement, especially playing in England after so much time without any practice games. So I feel if India manage to win the last game of this tour, it's gonna be a pretty good thing. I'm really
Yeah.
excited, looking forward to it. Gonna watch another like half of the match because then it's cool the next day. So really looking forward to it. Let's predict. I feel the predictions is not gonna matter a lot because I both of us I think are gonna predict India on only, even if they win or not. So my prediction too is definitely India, and I think Shafali Verma is gonna have another great. I think our openers are gonna have another great game. Harmanpreet Kaur showed glimpses of form in the last game,
Mhm.
scored, hit 2 sixes. So I think she might have a good game again. And I feel Shikha Pandey is going to have a good one.
Oh, love that. Love that. Yeah, I'm also going for an India win. Has to be. I mean, after everything we've gone through, long drawn series outside of India, we've got the perfect momentum we needed heading into this third T20,
Hmm.
right? We've won the most recent game. England from a winning position have lost it. So they're going to be struggling a little bit. I think, yeah, look, even if we win the toss, we lose the toss, it doesn't matter. We've got all the right things going for us at this moment. Richa Ghosh, a new sort of inductee into our
Yeah,
wicket keeping setup. She's missed a few, but she's also taken a few good catches and a
yeah.
few runouts done
Yeah,
herself.
that run
So I
out
think,
she did of Nat
yeah,
Shiver was pretty good.
that was the game changer. Nat Silver gone out on 1 run. I mean, we struggled to get her out. So a run out was the only way it was going to happen. Yeah, look, I'm going for an India win as well. You predicted Shafali and Smriti doing well, right? And Shikha Pandey, you said. I'm going to go with Sneh Rana coming up strong for us. I mean, the first match, she came up really
Hmm.
good for us towards the end. Sneh Rana again, last match of the series. It's been her series so far. So she'll get a couple of wickets and she'll make the winning runs.
Okay. So this is it for today. I really enjoyed talking to you. What are your views on coming to my channel? I really like your channel too. Like I subscribed 2 weeks back. I viewed your channel. I was just getting bored, so I was scrolling through YouTube and I found a channel. I subscribed to it immediately, and since then I'm really enjoying watching your content. So, what are your views of coming to my channel?
Yeah, no, thank you for inviting me. And I'm very impressed that at 12 years old, you got a full channel up and running and you're covering so many different aspects of Indian cricket. And I'm very glad that you're covering the women's side as well. That's, when people say I'm an India fan, that includes the men and the women.
Yeah.
People often forget that. And I'm so glad that you're doing this. I hope that when the series come up soon, the World Cup comes up soon, you cover that as well. And yeah, thank you for inviting me. I'd love to come back and chat some more women's cricket. But yeah, this has been great.
Yeah, thanks for coming, and let's see you guys in the next one. We are going to talk about, like, there are a lot of cricket coming up, so let's join you in the next video. Goodbye guys, and bye bye.